Hi guys, Jason Bodine coming at you once again from Gadsden, Alabama. Welcome back to the channel. I'm more than a little nervous today about making this video because I'm a big fan of the entire Supernatural TV show franchise, including the flagship series, the prequel series, the Winchesters, and all of the actors involved with both shows. And I'm taking a big risk here of unintentionally ruffling a lot of feathers, especially those of Jensen Ackles and his fan base. And that is the last thing that I want to do. I have nothing but love, respect, and admiration for all of the actors involved with the franchises, both people and professionals. And it's a big dream of mine to one day be able to attend a convention, meet all these wonderful people, and hang out with my fellow Supernatural fans. That said, I'm also a writer. And it's in that capacity that I've noticed and documented a few things since the prequel began its run that give me some questions and concerns that need to be addressed. So, without further ado, let's get into it. The reason for this video begins with a story you've already heard. That of how I came to write my Supernatural reboot script, Viva la Retcon, and how and why I sent paper copies of it to Jensen Ackles, Jared Padalecki, and Misha Collins. But since some viewers might be coming to my channel for the first time, and because the dates of events connected to the story, as well as plot points from the script itself, are important to this video, here it is one more time. On December 10th, 2020, just 3 weeks after the series finale aired, a friend of mine committed suicide. Because the relationship dynamic between my friend and I resembled both the on-screen dynamic of Dean and Castiel and the off-screen friendship of Jensen Ackles and Misha Collins, I worked through my grief by writing Viva la Retcon, using Destiel and time travel as plot devices to bring the boys back for at least another season. This allowed me, through Dean and Cass, to have the conversation with my friend that he and I never got to have before he died. The story I wrote sets up a season with the Empty as the big bad. It begins in the Wellspring, a realm we've never seen before. Its master is the Empty's brother, a cosmic entity called the Consciousness. He watches the events of the last 3 episodes of Supernatural with more than a little disappointment, which quickly turns to abject horror as his sister manages to go through a dimensional rift opened by those events and destroy the entire multiverse. I won't give away all of the details since the script is online for you to read, but just before heaven itself is engulfed by the Empty, the Consciousness pulls Jack, Amara, and Dean into his realm. He reveals to them that not only did Chuck's shoddy writing leave cracks in the multiverse that became exposed after his defeat, but that Dean's handling of the Castiel situation ripped an even bigger hole in the cosmos that his sister was able to go through. After a little more exposition, the Consciousness, along with Jack and Amara, send Dean's soul back in time into the body of his past self for a do-over. Long story short, he succeeds in changing the past. The hole he opened is closed, and the events from the opening scene are averted. But now the Empty has a lot of other risks to explore in order to try again. As you can see from this screenshot of my computer, I wrote 2 drafts of this script. The original was completed on February 21st, 2021, and a copy of it placed on my personal web server on March 15th. I then completed a second draft on February 10th, 2022, and placed the copy on my web server 2 weeks later on the 24th. In the interim of that 2-week period, I decided that I wanted to send paper copies to Jared, Jensen, and Misha, so I tried to find updated fan mail addresses for each of them. I was unable to find any, but I was able to find home addresses for each of these actors. So, on February 24th and 25th, I mailed out a copy to each actor, along with a stamped self-addressed envelope and a cover letter explaining that I was sending it as a thank you for helping me work through my grief over a friend's suicide, No, I didn't expect it to be produced, but just wanted to send it as my way of honoring my friend's memory. About a month later, on March 25th of that year, Jensen's copy came back in the mail, marked with the code that indicated there's no mailbox on his property. Not to be deterred, I took it to UPS and sent it that way. 4 days later, on March 29th, I received this notification stating the package had been left at Jensen's front door. I never heard back from any of them, of course, despite the stamped self-addressed envelopes. Now, if memory serves, and it may not, Jensen was in talk with the CW about a prequel at this point, but no script had been written yet. If you've been watching The Winchesters, then you may have already guessed what I'm leading up to with all of this by telling you the plot points of my script and the dates I wrote and sent everything. Because the story should have ended there. But then The Winchesters aired, and the story of John Winchester and Mary Campbell taking on the Akrita began to unfold. Right away from the first episode, everybody who watched noticed that something was off because the story being told on The Winchesters didn't jibe with the established canon from Supernatural. Then, on January 24th, 2023, Season 1, Episode 8, Hang On to Your Life, aired, and a whole new set of alarm bells sounded that only went off in this house. Specifically, with the big reveal that Dean is the one who gave John the letter from his father and started changing history, which means he had to have time traveled from the future. By episode 10, Suspicious Minds, those alarm bells were ringing even louder when it was revealed that the Akrita viewed Dean as some kind of threat. And with episode 11, this week's episode, You've Got a Friend, suggesting that Dean came from some otherworldly realm and is the key to stopping the Akrita that got downright deafening. If you haven't figured out why yet, go back and take another listen to my synopsis of Viva La Retcon before continuing on with this video. See it now? The plot of my story has Dean Winchester being sent back in time from the afterlife by a mysterious force to change the past in order to stop an interdimensional enemy who wants to end all life because he's the only one who can stop it. And what do we have happening on the prequel series? Dean Winchester has gone back in time from some otherworldly place, probably the afterlife, and to change the past in order to stop an interdimensional enemy that wants to end all life. And he's the only one who can. There are key differences, of course. With the focus on John and Mary, there's no Destiel element, and the enemy are the Akrita rather than the Empty. But do you see what I mean? There are enough differences to make it a different tale from the one that I wrote, but enough similarities so that, as both a fan and a writer, I have questions. The biggest one, of course, being, was this just the great-great-grandpappy of all great minds think alike coincidences, or did Jensen Ackles read my script and like it enough to be inspired by it? Let me stop for a minute and say that I'm okay with either answer to that question. If Mr. Ackles did get inspired by what I wrote, I send it as a thank you gift to honor a friend without expecting any sort of monetary compensation. And besides, the story has enough differences, as far as I'm concerned, that I'm not going to start screaming about copyright infringement or intellectual property theft. Because it's not. That said, I'm a writer. And, as with artists of any other medium, a little recognition is always appreciated. So, Mr. Ackles, sir, on the probably 1 in a trillion chance that this video reaches your eyes and ears, if you did get inspired by what I sent you, is there any chance there's room for another junior writer in the writer's room? I could definitely use the work. Okay, guys, that's about it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that like button. And if you haven't already, please be sure to subscribe, because I sure would appreciate it. Until next time, peace.